Australia will always be better off in a world that operates by rules that all countries have a say in shaping. A world where Australia and other countries have the freedom to decide our own futures without interference and intimidation. A world where we can find collective solutions to our toughest problems. A world when
Israel is burning people alive, innocent civilians. Why won't you sanction Israel? You have the power. You know what's happening. Innocent people, babies, people tied up to hospital beds. Why won't you sanction Israel when it's in your power and you know what's happening?
Oh, I've heard you now. I've heard you now, and I'd say to you that we are a democracy and everyone's voice matters. And I understand this is a very distressing. This is a very distressing. Well, I don't actually believe, and I've never believed, that we gain anything by shouting each other down.
Thank you.
So I want to turn now to international law and the protection of civilians and humanitarian personnel. So I've recently returned from the United Nations. You are taller, aren't you? I've recently returned from the UN General Assembly at what's called the High Level Week, where Australia progressed what was our most ambitious multilateral agenda in years. I think we all care. We actually all care. We didn't actually. It would be good if we had some facts in this discussion. We see this in the increasing number of aid workers being killed and kidnapped. And in order to protect civilians, we must also protect... I've actually... Oh, my goodness. 2023 was the deadliest year on record for aid workers. And 2024 is on track to be even worse. But in driving this declaration, what we are seeking to do is demonstrate again that we are the sort of constructive internationalists in the mould of the honoree of this address.
Waiting now during your leadership, Penny, and we're so sorry that you lost your sign. On behalf of the people of Tasmania, we'd like to offer you this one. What we need right now is leaders that have backbone, that are willing to do something that isn't just talk.
So as part of that effort, I announced $9 million in humanitarian aid to respond to high levels of food insecurity in Yemen. This follows... You might be aware that we actually called for a ceasefire in Lebanon before the invasion began and alongside with the international community. And I know Mr Dutton has been very critical of that decision, but we did so because we believe it is part of our job to advocate for peace and stability. So, and that is why we called for a ceasefire in Lebanon alongside the G7.
In Lebanon by our friends and family are in the total state of utter fear. Their children don't sleep. There are bombs going overhead every single
The only hope to seeing a secure and prosperous future for both peoples, to strengthen the forces for peace across the region and to undermine extremism. In a future Palestinian state, must not to be in a position to threaten Israel's security with no role for terrorists.
And planes made in Australia.
Well,
Parts of the F-35 bomber
Well,
made here in Australia and they killed people last night and for the last year. You've had time. You've had so much time, Senator Wong. Please, listen to the people who give you the power to do your job. That's what you are. You're our representative. No, I'm not. I'm the representative of human beings. Senator Wong, please. Please listen to the people.
thank you. Right now, the suffering across the region must end. In Israel, this is a long, complex and disputed history. It is deeply felt and close to the heart of many. So we need to acknowledge the real trauma on all sides. We need to acknowledge each other's humanity.
Penny, how is there humanity on a two-state solution? Israel has bombs and guns. Palestinians have rocks. They have nothing. They've got absolutely nothing. What's happening in West Papua, huh? Why?
So I think I was speaking. Oh, boy. I think I was trying to talk about our communities. And as Foreign Minister, you obviously see firsthand and experience firsthand the anger and distress of Australians who feel very deeply about this conflict. And some have very different views. I think it's so important to ensure we have a discussion about this, acknowledging each other's humanity, because that is what peacemakers through history have sought to do. And it's incumbent upon any Australian government to play a responsible role in promoting peace. Well, actually, you haven't actually, to be fair, I haven't actually been allowed to speak rather than me allowing you to speak, to be fair. Can I just say thank you to all of you? I appreciate the spirit of the discussion, perhaps slightly one way at times, but I certainly appreciate all of you who have sought to listen to what I've said.
You don't listen to our emails, you don't listen to our calls. We wouldn't have to be here yelling at you if you listened to us. Why won't you sanction Israel, Penny? Just answer that question and we can all go home. Why won't you sanction Israel? That's a question you can answer right now.
Should I answer that? Have I been turned off? Well,